racism that is probably more real than even the time of apartheid. Because in the time of apartheid, it was more official on pen and paper. But this time, I want to believe that it's worse than before. Worse than before in a sense that it's more subtle, it's more diplomatic, it's more strategic. One can call all these words, it's more intellectual. It has been so discreet. So it kills us more than it did in the past. Because in the past, you could see that whoever is killed under the auspices of racism. Today, our people are killed under the auspices of racism, to a certain extent being assisted by our fellow black people. Like I will tell you this, the issue that we just mentioned of Marikana is the same as the Sharpeville massacre, but now it was spearheaded by the very same black people, a black on black violence.
Yeah.
So we are sitting with a serious problem at this stage than we did even during the time of apartheid. Because right now, as we are speaking here, all these massive and big institutions, they are every day led into the power of white supremacists. And those white supremacists are not ready or willing at any given stage to give power. Any black person who happened to be there, he's just a house-born slave. You know, the field slave and the house slave, they are not treated the same. We just have the house Negroes here. These people are borrowed a limelight. They are not the actual people. You even go into the taxi industry, there is a high level of racism because of one simple reason. The taxis there in Soshanguve, in Mamelodi, you see them written Mtimkulu Kumalo, Hlongwane.
Yeah.
They are not owned by such individuals. They are owned by white people in, what do you call this thing? In Vierde Park, in Waterkloof. So such kind of things, you will realize that the actual situation that we are sitting with racism, it's more real than before. Because at this stage, it has just disguised itself under the democracy. And I have to tell you this thing that we are claiming and we are talking about, like we are victorious, your what is this? Your BEE, all these things that are trying to advance a black person, they are simply plunging us more into racism than before. Because white people are simply putting our people there as the pawn in this whole thing. They will just come and tell us the black name of a company that they register it. And after that, they just apply for tenders with it using the name of our mother there who's a cleaner in the house. We need to be very careful. We need to be very careful. This situation is more real than it was before. And last but not least, I will say the story, which is my personal experience.
Yeah.
That was almost around March. Around March, I was traveling with a train to Rosebank for a meeting. What happened is that as I was entering into the train, me being a very energetic person, this white man was carrying a school bag. I moved quicker. I touched the school bag, not pushed or bumped him, just touched it with my chest. And that man said, he looked at me and he said, "This is not the Kafir street. You are bringing your black disorder here."
Wow.
Me being the radical that I am, I'm not proud of what I did, but I had to do this one. I moved that man. I fought him. The train had to stop. They had to take me and make me sleep somewhere in Camel Drift prison. For one simple reason, I will not allow him to call me names that have been used on my fathers today in this so-called democracy. And then for a fact that I fought and I was banished from using the how train, it does not mean that many of our brothers and sisters out there are not called like that. We still have situations where black people are sitting on the back of the bike whilst a white man is riding with a dog inside. We still have such cases and we see them on the road. There is not even a single black person who will dare to stop that white man to say, no, why can't you put this man here? At least he must share a seat with your dog. Racism is more real than before.
I just saw a quote that I once borrowed at some point and posted it on my Facebook page by Kwame Nkrumah. freedom is not something that one people can bestow on another as a gift, because they claim it as their own, and none can keep it from them. And on 012-382-4936, you can of course be in touch with us. On Tshwane Space FM Space 93.6, do engage with us as well. We are at Tshwane FM on Twitter. We're going to take just one song before we allow Abuti Elmon to come and give us his submission, and Nico Zibanyoni as well has joined us to actually join the conversation as well. Let's take one by KO Nandimgom or Skandalaf.